Hi guys, welcome to my studio. My name is Helen Rodrigues and I'm an artist. I've been so probably for a very long time. When I was a very young girl, I enjoyed to draw and express myself. I think most artists would confess that at a very young age, art, whether it be dance, music, singing, whatever it is, we have always sort of had an innate need to communicate something to the world. And with my work, currently, I have a couple of disciplines. I look at landscape and still life. My landscape work is typically done on mylar, which is a plastic kind of drafting paper used by engineers. And I use washes and layers of oil stick and oil paint on mylar to create a landscape effect. Now the style and method that I work, it's very similar to Helen post-expressionist artist back in the early 1900s, who was less intentional about her art. She used pouring methods to create what eventually looked like landscape work. So I do the same thing. I actually apply line, shape, and color, and I look for a landscape. So I allow the painting to speak to me. And then at that point, I start to add and subtract like a sculptor, a variety of medium, whether it be oil or acrylic. Sometimes I do work in acrylic on canvas. And I let things evolve sort of in a mindful approach in the moment. I often have to center myself before the canvas so that I could complete and see and be in the space. I mean, when we look at landscapes, we often imagine ourselves in that space. And I think people who look at my work can imagine themselves within the space, within an environment that they could be exploring or living or just being. And I think we forget to do that sometimes with things that are going on, especially right now, that we forget to be. And when you're before a landscape, you have that opportunity. You have an opportunity to be somewhere that you're not, and we need that so badly sometimes, and so that we can just escape or just to relieve stress and relieve what's going on in our day-to-day. It's so important to be mindful and to be present, and that's how I work in terms of my landscape art. Now for my acrylic art, I do the same thing. There's a little bit more drying speed there, and I can complete things a little faster. But those ones are usually a little larger in scale and seem to have a different approach because of drying speed, but it's still the same method. My other subject that I like to explore is still life. Now, still life is something that artists have done for centuries. It's either a bowl of fruit or a plate of glasses or a teacup. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's in the moment. My work, I usually intentionally set up, whether it be a bowl of fruit or I'm looking at photographs that I've taken. I often take a lot of photographs as a preliminary to my drawings. And I do enjoy drawing the image out first in pencil and pencil crayon, so that I prepare myself a little more. It's a lot more planning, a lot more intentional. The reason there's so much intent behind it is because I see fruit as a luxury. I see it as something rich and delicate and delectable. It's something that can be often at a distance for some, depending on costs at home in terms of having to buy groceries and whatnot. So I find that fruit is certainly seen still, as it was, a luxury. and I create them as large as I can, as big as I can, larger than life peaches and apples and pears. And again, it's about sort of being present. So when you're looking into the picture, it's frivolous and beautiful and decadent, and you just kind of want to embed yourself in that bowl of fruit. And it's still the same sort of method of mindfulness, but I certainly am more intentional in my creation. So I build the image from scratch, and then I recreate it onto either a mylar, oil on mylar, or on acrylic canvas. So that's a little bit about how I work. I hope it's of interest. If it is, please certainly email. You can find, or you can even send me a message on Facebook. I'd be happy to hear your comments. I hope you're well. I hope you're creatively exploring in whatever capacity you can. And hopefully we'll talk soon.